So it's Miss Darling in the studio. Welcome back, and if you're here for the first time, I welcome you. We have been working on a deck of cards and doing companions of each and every card. Now, I started with the ace. Then we have number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, and King. And so let me show you what I did. For instance, here is I should start with the ace. Here is my ace card, the black of clubs, and you open it up, and I have a double spread, and I hinged it together with fabric, and I used the ace of diamonds for the second card. So in each one I have a black card and a red card, and it doesn't really matter to me whether it's a heart, a diamond, a club, or a spade. I just chose them randomly. So here was my first double spread, and I hinged them with a torn piece of fabric, and that is about 3/4 of an inch wide, so that I have a 1/4 inch that is glued to one card and then leaves a little space so that it folds nicely, and a 1/4 of an inch that is glued to the opposite card. So then you can open up and it closes real nice and stays closed. So that was ace. The number 2 card, I decided to put a pocket on the front and a pocket on the back. So I have a pocket there with a little insert, and that could be anything you wanted, from a tag to an art card to even maybe a postcard. But anyway, so here was the red number 2, and you open up, and this was my double spread. And of course it says 2 and 2. I didn't do numbers on the inside on everything, but I did on a few of them where I felt like it would enhance the look of the inside. And so then here's a pocket on the back side too, and you see I have a card stuck in there. Here was number 3. Ooh, I got a touch up there, I guess. Now I used 1/4 inch tape to hinge these together, and here's what that looked like. So it's double-sided tape, and so I used a 1/4 inch, and that made it real simple and easy to attach one card to the other. And we open up this, and we have these 2 companions. This is my favorite floral artist, and as you can see, I do have fabric on the background of some of them, which extends beyond the size of the card, and so that will become important later, depending on what you decide to do. If you're making companions that you attach together, you don't have to, but I decided I was going to attach them. And so here's my number 4 card, and I have another pocket on the front with some ephemera tucked in, and a pocket on the back again with more ephemera tucked in, and you open it up, and here was my double spread on the inside. And you can see I did add a number 4 to this particular design. I tried to make every one of them different from each other, but I coordinate the 2 cards together that are part of the companionship, but make them different from the others. So here is the inside of my number 5 card, and you can see it was quite different from what you've seen so far. And that was the back side. No pockets on this one. No pockets on this one either. And we open it up, and we see this spread. And of course I added 6 there, and this is just straight paper collage, no fabric used on this one. there is fabric on some of the others. Here's number 7 with a pocket on the front and some ephemera. Got some tags here, and on the back there is also a pocket with tags. And so now let's open it up, and we have this. And this was a kind of a more difficult, involved spread that I did here, using some preserved flowers that presented a challenge of its own, and some leaves, and I covered this one with Mod Podge. Turned out to be quite messy and not such a great idea. I just sprayed this one with a clear acrylic spray, and it does add some protection. Not as good as this, but certainly not as messy as that one either. And so that's how that one ultimately turned out. And I think in that video, if you've seen it before this, I had added this little rosebud or flower bud up here, and then put a stem on with ink pen and a couple of little leaves, and then over here I just did some leaves there to coordinate them and make them real nice duplicate. The only thing that really went wrong in this whole thing was because I used a Mod Podge over here, and I didn't here. We have a dramatic color difference in the background paper, and so that's a little unfortunate. I would prefer if they were more the same, but that's the way it goes. Here's number 8, and here we use some black splatter paint in the back, and we've got some stick-on stickers here in the florals, and then the black designs I made with my Thinlits die-cut little tabletop machine. And yeah, so that one came out real fun and different, of course, from all the others. Here's number 9. Again, a pocket on the front with coordinating ephemera, and there's a tag back here. I tried to pick ephemera that is color appropriate and kind of it's suitable for the feeling of how I'm decorating. Here's a pocket on the back, again with more ephemera, and here's a card. It has red flowers to kind of pick up on the red 9 there. And let's see what happens when we open it up. Okay, we got a lot of butterflies and moths and whatnot, a lot going on here. This would make a great masterboard, actually, and would be great to cut up if I could make a copy of this and do that. And one of the things I wanted to point out is that when you have a lot going on and it just really looks chaotic and way too busy, one way to add unity and pull it all together is by using puff paint and making these little dots all over it that just help tie it together, one element to another. And that was the trick that I used as a design element to settle it down and have it be more coordinated, unified, and not so crazy. Here's number 10, and boy, is this different from the one we just saw. And this one has not very much on it. It's one of these less is more looks, where we have some nice ephemera there as focal points, and using the music pages in the background for a change of pace. And I really liked how this came together. Very simple, and it has that kind of wintry look to it. And now we get to the face cards. We have the Jack, and now you'll see how I much more use this particular color palette in all of the inside designs for the face cards, because that's what we had on the front. So we open this up, and we have this double spread, and I added a J there for Jack, and you know, some vintage cards, some vintage stamps, and a little bit of fabric and lace on vintage book page paper, and a little bit of washi tape there to kind of hide some of the blemishes. Oop, I've got the downside of using vintage paper is it's very fragile and can easily break away on you, so I will have to fix that. Oh, I forgot to mention, sewed a couple little buttons on here, and there's some with lace in the background. I think I mentioned that already. Okay, so that's how that one turned out. And now we get to the Queen. And now, very colorful spread. This is a combination of paper and fabric, and just using up a lot of things I had on hand in my studio, and you know, colorful butterflies, and then a couple dictionary quote things there, a little bit of music in the background, and yeah, very fun. I think this was the very first one I actually made, and I had so much fun and loved so much how it came out. I really was eager to do so many more, and that's what I did. And so then lastly we come to the King, and I used up some beautiful, very, very strong African fabrics that I have in my stash, and I thought this came together very well. A little bit of collage here, a little bit of collage there, some lace, and you know, just had a lot of fun pulling it together, and loved the way it came out. So as you can see, there is a whole lot of variety in this entire project. And originally I was going to try to attach all of these in some way to the spine of an actual journal cover that I would make customized, and I just really couldn't figure out a good, simple way to do that. So instead I opted to make myself a box for it. And so here is a box that I made from scratch. And you open it up, and here, let me move this out of the way. We open it up, and I made it using mat board, which I cut to the dimensions that I needed. I covered it with fabric. This is some Tim Holtz fabric that I used all the way around, and then reinforced the edges with some black embroidery lace, and I just really love how it came out. And so, and I, you know, reinforced the, you know, the hinge here with some black embroidery lace, and I made it so my cards, even with them, the fabric extending beyond the card, both on the width and the height, I made it so that all of them would just drop in there real easily. And there is room to spare in terms of vertical height, so that if I want to at any point come back and add more pockets or more ephemera or anything else that would fatten it up, I have a good 1 inch, or maybe not quite an inch, you know, about an inch of space there that the volume can still grow. And so I was very pleased with how this came out. It was not difficult at all. And let me give you the measurements of the box in case you like this idea. Now the bottom is, you cut a piece of of whatever you're using. I do love using mat board. It's nice and thick and very sturdy, and but you can use whatever you like. So my bottom is 5.5 by 7.5 inches. Oh, I guess in the editing I'll make that a little more plain. So 5.5 by 7.5. You can really easily measure all your width and your height, and then add a little bit to that for the top, and then cut out your top. So I had fully covered the sides, the bottom, all the sides and the bottom, and then I covered my top separately. Actually, no, I hinged the top onto the box with fabric, and then after it was hinged, then I covered the top so that the hinging does not show. And see, it doesn't show here, and I guess I must have done that. Oh, I know, I think I I don't remember now, I'm sorry. But anyway, I hinged it early enough in the process so that the hinge does not show. But the last thing I did was cover the top. And I decided I could have covered the inside, and I see I have a little bit of nail polish scrape there, and so I might do that now. I can do that at any time I choose. But I had decided to leave the whole inside white, but I did put this black lace down here to just, give that a little bit more support instead of just being hinged on the outside. Now it's hinged on the inside as well. So that's what I did with them, and I'm really happy. I may at some point come back and put a focal point on the top here, but right now I'm just enjoying it with the design of the fabric by itself. I think it's quite busy and interesting. The only thing I wish, I couldn't help this because that's just the way the fabric was, but it would have been nice if the word book had, well, I guess it looks right to you now holding it this way, but in looking at it from my vantage point, that's upside down. I can cover that over with something else that I glue on top, and I may do that. But yeah, but it was real easy to just take a large piece of fabric and just run it a continuous piece all the way from side across the bottom and the top. So I know, because this is a continuous fabric right here, that's not going to give away, and it's very good support. So yeah, that was what I did in terms of working on these, and I think I'm going to go ahead and decorate off camera the rest of my cards, or I might do them slowly here and there along the way, and so that my entire, I still have two complete decks. Each one isn't complete because stuff was pulled out of it, but if I put all of the reds together, I would, I still can put a complete deck of red cards together and a complete deck of black cards. And you might not want to do this if you decide to do this. You might decide to make everything. Oh, I'm missing a jack. Oh, here it is. Okay. So you see, I do have a complete deck of red, and I have a complete deck of black, and I don't like jokers, so I didn't use the jokers at all. But I think if I do something with these cards, I'll cover up the front, because I just don't like that, period. So I probably will decorate both sides of these cards. Anyway, you can do it however you want. Because if you ordered this, which I just love, it's very high quality, and they're nice and rather stiff, a little, you know, a little bendable, but just a nice thickness to work with. And so I got these off of Amazon. I'll try to put a link in the description box for you. But here is some info on them, so you should be able to find it quite easily. So yeah, this completes my little series on working with these jumbo playing cards, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this content, would appreciate if you give the video a like and share it, and give me a comment, tell me what you're doing, and if you're working along with me. And thanks for being here and watching, and hope you'll subscribe and stick around for a while, and new content coming. And I've appreciated all of this. It was great fun and a nice challenge at the same time. So that's about it. This is Miss Darling calling this a wrap. Bye-bye.